and that's the inability to share our hearts. People sometimes talk. Communication is the meeting of meanings. Communication is who you are and what's on your heart and how you really feel and what's really going on, somehow getting that across into the heart of another individual. And some couples try and miscommunicate. And often I've seen them when they're trying the hardest to really love one another, will do things that get perceived in a way where it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. Conflict, communication. The third reason given is lack of commitment. It's the inability to remain faithful to our partner. This is just, we live in a sex-saturated world, and people go to work, and people go to the spa, and people go hang out, and people get together with other couples, and a lot of times what happens is people get wandering eyes, and someone decides they'd like to try out a few things with someone other than their mate. And that lack of fidelity, that lack of ability to keep your loyal covenant to your partner produces an immoral breach and pain like some of you in this room understand. My thesis, however, despite the experts, and you know what, are these true? Of course they're true. I mean, conflict and communication, lack of commitment, do those break up marriages? But here's my thesis. I'm going to say that conflict, communication, and commitment issues are not the root problems in marriage. They are merely symptoms of the real problem. There's something deeper. There's something behind it back here. I mean, yes, you got to resolve conflict, but there's something, if you don't know, you can't resolve conflict. Of course you have to communicate, but if you don't have power in a common language, you can't communicate. And yes, you got to stay faithful to your partner, but you know what? If you go into marriage not knowing what kind of commitment it is, there's a good chance you won't keep it. I've got pieces of a jigsaw puzzle here, and this is a blue piece, and this is a little green and yellow piece, and actually it's a children's jigsaw puzzle. There's only 100 pieces. But I would like to suggest that I could take this jigsaw puzzle, and I could take two people who are married, and I could say, okay, there's the pieces, and that 100-piece jigsaw puzzle represents your marriage. And what a good marriage is figuring out how they go together and put them together. And because this is for children and there's only 100 pieces, and knowing that they're pretty smart people, they would probably get in here together and go, well, you know, this is our relationship. We got to figure it out. So tell you what, you get all the blue pieces and I'll get those together, and there's got to be a border. Let's see if you get the red pieces, you get the white pieces. But even with these 100 pieces, I'll tell you what, I think I could frustrate people for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. If that's all I gave them. But I will tell you this, I could give their 10-year-old this puzzle. And if I gave this 10-year-old this puzzle, and I gave him the box top, the 10-year-old could do it probably in 15 or 20 minutes. See, what we don't understand today is we don't have the box top. We don't have the picture. We don't understand. We've got all these pieces, communication and intimacy and spiritual something here, and we're supposed to share something there, and there's the physical and the emotional and the psychological, and there's work, and there's kids, and there's money, and there's sex, and there's in-laws, and there's your family. Well, okay, there's my family too. And you know, you got all this stuff, and you got all these pieces, and someone says, put them all together, but most couples don't have the box top. Now, what you see here is if you had this box top, you would see that Charlie Brown could make you a wonderful life. And Lucy and Charlie Brown, they're just on the beach, and Snoopy's under the umbrella. And it's not very difficult. It was designed for a great time. But what I want to tell you is that marriage is not like a 100-piece puzzle. I want you to imagine a big cardboard box, and it's this high, and it's about 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet, and it's about as high as my waist. And this one, it has 15,000 pieces, not 100. And the pieces are very small. You know, the real hard ones that you do on your coffee table? Not 1,000, 15,000 pieces. That's what marriage is like. And the average couple gets 15,000 pieces in a big cardboard box, and they don't have the box top, and they love one another, and it starts exciting. Imagine those 15,000 pieces and getting locked in a room that you could never get out of. Maybe there's a couple exercise bikes, maybe there's a little kitchen where you can cook some food, but the only way you can get out is you got to get this solved. I think we could have people possibly killing one another.